So I'm making a second video, and the contents of which I'll unfold here. First and foremost, I just uploaded this very video that is only 10% uploaded here on Facebook, but completely just now finally uploaded on YouTube. So it has taken an hour to upload this video on YouTube, but yet it's still not even 10%. Oh, look at that, it jumped. Now we'll try. Now, pay attention as we go along to the internet window up in the corner in the right corner. I'm at the Ann Arbor Public Library downtown, Ann Arbor, Michigan, where the internet is very good when it's not obstructed by people deliberately, as man-in-the-middle attacks, or I think they call them internet denial attacks. There's another name for it. I think it's DDoS attacks, maybe. So notice that. I've given you proof here that I've been able to upload stuff. Here's the video again. That was an hour ago, because I uploaded it twice to make sure one of them would go through, and that one didn't go through at all. But this one, I uploaded about an hour and a half ago, and that went through, as you can see. And that's 30 photos plus the video. So the internet's working here. That was 2 hours ago at as you see, the Ann Arbor District Library. And that went up just fine. And then that was 3 hours ago. And that went up just fine. So, this is absolute proof that there are people here, whether they work here or not, that are deliberately interfering with my use of the internet. They are aware of materials in this room that attract electromagnetic energy, that makes it difficult for my tablet to operate properly, including its operation with the public Wi-Fi internet here. And they're taking advantage of that so that I don't upload these videos that are so pejorative to some people or to Ann Arbor as a whole. So before I go further, I'm going to hit this arrow to see if it'll and also, as you see, there is a bolt sign in the middle of the battery sign up at the top next to 1:05 p.m. I've had this device charging for 1 hour while the videos have been uploading. And at one time, it had gotten so low to, I think, 1%. And then when I put some distance between the device and my book bag that had the peaches in it, it started to to actually build upon the charge. At no time during all that did that boat sign stop. In fact, to give you an idea and an example, if I unplug the charger from this device, this is what it's going to look like in the corner. It never did that. So I'm going to plug it back up again. All right. And so for a whole hour, it only produced a charge in the amount of 6%. That's extremely dysfunctional and unusual. It takes an hour to fully charge this device, or damn near fully charge it. So that's another proof that electromagnetic energy is at work here, creating an electromagnetic field nearby or surrounding this tablet to get it to malfunction, not only in its ability to upload and download via Wi-Fi, but also its ability to even build upon a charge. But it can dysfunction the tablet in a considerable amount of other ways specific to the apps that are being used. It can allow a man in the middle with another computer to reboot the device. At one time, they used to be able to reboot the device and keep it stuck in reboot mode so that I could not, it would never fully reboot. And then any files or documents or evidence that I had in the internal storage of the device would have had to have been lost, because I would have had to factory reset the device, which wipes the internal storage completely deleted or clean. They're very fond of manipulating and using the Google app to control all the other apps on the device. And so they can slow the device down to such an extent that anything you type will spell out extremely slow. Oh, look. Both copies of the videos have just been deleted. So now I have to try once again for the third time to re-upload that video of very dangerous circumstances that I lived in. And actually I have two additional main ones, but then I have a whole bunch of other ones that I created throughout my time living at 1040 Island Drive Island Drive Court, that is, apartment 101, Ann Arbor, Michigan, 48105, with Alexander Raskine, PhD of the University of Michigan, Metabolonics Core at 1000 Wall Street, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Try finding 1000 Wall Street, Ann Arbor, Michigan. It doesn't exist in brick and mortar. It's within the Kellogg's Eye Institute. Isn't that freaky and strange? And I also shared the apartment with his son, Gregory Raskine, who I'm more than confident snuck in my bedroom one night at 3:30 in the morning and stole my cell phone within 15 minutes. And then when I called the Ann Arbor police, they came and instead of responding as a report of larceny, they swept it under the rug to protect the both of them as a call for service, as if I would call the police out to help me find my cell phone in my bedroom where I know that I set it down in my bedroom. So obviously there is some conspiracy of unlawful conduct between Alexander Raskine, his son Gregory Raskine, and the Ann Arbor Police Department. And anytime I've ever attempted to make a police complaint against Alexander Raskine, the police refused to take a complaint. And if you look at the video about the a conversation that I had with the complex owner in which I was unlawfully evicted from the complex apartment, you'll see that there's an officer, McNally, who shows up upon the scene, and he totally mischaracterizes me and accuses me of committing a crime without any substantiated proof and without a hearing, a trial, being found guilty, and less more even charges about the circumstances. So, and then he tried to manipulate the owner of that property to trespass me for the property for 1 year. Well, that would have most certainly been to the benefit of Alexander Raskine, who had me unlawfully evicted from the apartment in the first place by committing fraud upon the court and falsely filling out documents to that effect. So there I've given you some more than circumstantial proof that all that I've been through and lived through at that apartment has been protected and shielded and perhaps promoted and aided by the Ann Arbor Police Department. Let me go further here. So, as usual, I conduct my investigation. And if you notice my speech is a little slow and choppy, it's because I'm experiencing a severe headache due to some materials that I've just recently discovered that are going to be part of this video. But first, let's establish what network I'm using and where I am. And sometimes on a network that has a number of radios, the internet signal changes or is made to change between the different radios. So that number up there changed, I believe, just now because it's indicating that I'm on a different radio than I was earlier. A radio is a device that actually emits the Wi-Fi signal, and in large buildings there's a number of them to make sure that there's an adequate signal level for everyone to use throughout the large facility. So now that we've established that, let's establish in more detail where we are. Now look at that. When I started this video, it was at 7%. Now it's jumped to 9%. If you consider that rate, that charge rate, see, the signal has just been suppressed, but whatever device you're using is not capable of suppressing it enough to keep it suppressed for a long time. But if you notice, see, look, now it just went down. See, they suppressed the signal, and it went from 9% to 8%. So somehow, through that method, they're able to drain your battery double time of what it normally would be drained under normal circumstances of it not being interfered with. And that's the other part of the tactic of of trying to prohibit someone from uploading information that is pejorative to someone's or some entity's interest, and or prohibiting the use of an app or the device in general. So let's turn on the location. So that there is no doubt that's where I am. Okay. Now, I had to unplug it to move it, so. Okay. You be the judge. And now, we come to these. So in the previous video, there was a lot to do with peaches. And this man who's wore a kind of hat, and he called it a kufi. And then I looked it up. It's spelled Kufi. It's an Islamic prayer cap. And he stated that his name was Islam. And I said, "Oh, like the religion?" He says, "I am Islam." Kind of startled me, but oh, okay then. So your name is Islam, and you are Islam. So, and strangely enough, I think his wife was there because she had on, she wore glasses, I believe, and she had on the hat that women wear as Muslims. He was very nice and very gentle, and he seemed very genuine and sincere. But his wife, his presumed wife, was very stark and shrewd and uncompromising and so not very charitable, really. Because I explained to her my circumstances, that I had been rendered homeless and that I didn't have refrigeration, and so could we make accommodations for that circumstance, and could the pre-designated allocations of certain categories of food be altered to accommodate my circumstances of not having refrigeration, thereby getting a little extra of something that I can carry with me or keep in a bag that doesn't require refrigeration. But she was uncompromising about the matter, and so fine, I was getting something, so well enough. So naturally, I got a bunch of canned goods because those could keep in my bag, right? And so we discussed the stickers that were on the peaches and how an adhesive can be added to the original adhesive of a sticker of any kind and then reattached to a surface, and then that can work and act like an electromagnetic energy magnet. And if that sticker on a surface is near a device that uses an ion battery of any kind, then that ion battery can be overloaded with an electromagnetic field of energy that will prohibit it from um, growing a charge or developing a charge. In fact, it will lose charge even while it's plugged up into a wall via an adapter. But it can also interfere with a user's ability to use a smart device to almost any capacity, because electronic instruments are very sensitive to electromagnetic energy, and especially when it's excessively stronger than the device's capability to mitigate it or operate within a much stronger field. So that was the deal with the stickers. Another aspect that modern day advanced cyber hackers, men in the middle, terrorists use is ionization of materials. Now, in this bottle, there are ionized metals. First what were first ionized were the pens that I got from the apartment I shared with Alexander Raskine and his son, protege. And then there is a flash drive that I found at the Duderstadt library that's made out of complete metal. Well, 99% metal. I think some of the internal parts might be metal to accommodate. Might be plastic to accommodate a plastic female adapter components. And so those are in here. Those metals are in here. So I know what ionized metals feel like. And I've explained it before. There's also a rock that I found in here at in Ann Arbor Park structure. It's like a, I don't know. It's like a, it has pillars. I would say it's an Italian-esque designed enclosure along the Huron River. It's actually in what is that park called? Turtle Island Park. And that's where I've been sleeping at night, because it's been undisturbed up until the last 2 nights. And so I found this rock there, and it's very powerful. I suspect that it's radioactive. And so I have it in this bottle. I'm not 100% confident that it is, but I want to figure out how to get rid of it and where to get rid of it so that it isn't used against me again. And there's a fine line, it seems, between the there's a fine line of characteristics of symptoms that I feel between radioactive material, which I strongly believe is the content of that marker, which also belonged to Alexander Raskine, and ionized materials. Ionized materials gives me the feeling of constricted blood vessels, more so than radioactive or radio materials. And radio materials have a force. It's like there's a force hitting you. Like when I touch this bottle, there's not just a slight charge feeling, but there's also a strong forceful feeling, as if something is penetrating my hand, but not from underneath, where I'm actually have contact with the bottle. It's hitting my hand from the top. So it's as if maybe energy is expelling from the bottle and then hitting the top of my hand and thumb. Kind of strange. So that's my best description of what I'm experiencing anyway, in the company of that. But then I realized that these are highly ionized. And I got all of these from the Jewish synagogue pantry on Packard Road in Ann Arbor, Michigan, along with the peaches. Why a Jewish pantry would have um, an Islamic man, an Islamic Middle Eastern man and his wife giving out food there, I guess there's nothing wrong with that. It just seems a bit out of place or unusual or a little strange, but nonetheless, it didn't stop me from accepting food and taking it and eating food. I've eaten a considerable amount of the peaches. I got some greens because I'm fond of greens. I ate a considerable amount of the greens here. I've thrown them away in this trash can. I'm going to take the whole plastic bag out of the Ann Arbor Public Library and dispose of it in the garbage on the street of Ann Arbor, because I now question the safety of consuming these edibles. And then I guess I'll mention this. There was a Jewish lady working at this station, and she was very adamant about me taking this spice, this thyme. It smells very nice. And then the Islamic man wearing a kufi named Islam, who is Islam, as he puts it, reaffirmed her overwhelming push of this spice on me, and they both suggested that I make a tea out of it. So I took it because it smelled nice, and I want to be a trusting person. I don't want to be schizophrenic or psychotic, paranoid, or something like that. So maybe that is going to work against me or to my detriment. But I'm not schizophrenic. I'm not psychotic, and so I try to use a reasoning base that assumes that my peers and members of my community are not working against me, but especially in the context of a food pantry, are trying to help me. But when I touch these cans, this is more proof to me that they've given me something detrimental to my health than my a little more than half confident suspicion about the stickers that were on the peaches. These things are ionized, unquestioned. I don't know if they all are, but this undoubtedly is ionized. And what it was a can of peaches. Believe it or not. I think I still have the wrapper in the trash can. And this writing underneath the label is purple. Why is there purple writing on this ionized can that was inconspicuously wrapped up? Now, holding this can right now, another confirmation that this is ionized. I feel a tingling in the tops of my fingers there. And then I have a headache on the left side of my head, frontal lobe, and then right beneath the frontal lobe, I have some exposed gums from where teeth have been pulled. And that gum flesh is highly inflamed. And now I actually feel a tightness in my heart area, my pericardia area, by holding this can. I'd love to keep this as evidence, but to do so would only bring about more harm to me. Now, when I set that down, there was a jerk in my heart, as if, there was a jerk. And then to take this to the Ann Arbor Police Department, Sergeant Reed told me on another occasion that they do not take hazardous materials, that I could possibly take them to the fire department, but there's no guarantee that the fire department will take them. And then I've tried taking hazardous materials to the FBI here at the federal building, and I don't know, I've been there a total of maybe 6 or 7 times. 6 times, assuming 7 total. They told me that I'm supposed to submit this to the Ann Arbor Police Department. When I submitted some electromagnetically enhanced post stamps to them on the 7th time, a U.S. Marshal security officer in the lobby or the atrium named Cliff was upset by the fact that I consistently bring hazardous materials there, so he confirmed that they were hazardous. And he said that the Ann Arbor Police is more than equipped to handle those, and in fact, the lawful procedure is for them to accept suspicious materials that could be a hazard to the public and then forward them to the FBI department in that federal building in a secure manner so that it does not affect the judges in the court that's in the same building that practice federal jurisprudence, apparently. So I swear to God, and on penalty of oath, if necessary, that can, in particular, is most certainly, undoubtedly, highly ionized. I wanted to go through all of these and take the labels off of all of them to see if they also had purple writing on them, but I don't know how safe and thus intelligent that might be. I mean, there is, here is some, here's some, is that purple? That's kind of like violet ink of some kind. Whatever those numbers stand for. But then on the top here, and then also remember that salsa? The winking girl. Yeah. Just for you, Voren. After discovering that this was considerably outdated for human consumption, but given to me. By the workers at the Jewish food pantry on Thursdays, just yesterday, Thursday. It made me suspicious enough about the other cans and goods. So everything else seemed to have a proper date to it. But what I found strange about this can chicken. I got 2 of them. Okay, when you don't see a barcode like this one here, because I'm actually using a barcode reader CAN, because that works best with this app. Okay, so when you don't see a barcode, but you see a flashing of a barcode interpretation or across the screen, that's a hacker somehow controlling the barcode scanner app that is giving you the visual that you're seeing now, external of the device, trying to disrupt the video that I'm making. So just bear that in mind. So there's no, just in case it happens again, there are no barcodes here. So what I found weird or different about this canned chicken is that this can has these strange markings on it. Those circles there, and then it's as if there are circles within those circles. For some reason, I'm not seeing it too clearly, but I also have the light contrast low on my device to preserve the battery more. See those circles on the top circle there, right here? So it's as if that looks like the imprint of some kind of device to me. And you see the irregular pattern of all 3 larger circles. It's not as if those are circles from some object that had pads on it that sat upon this. These circles are scattered without regulation in connection with one another. So I found that strange, whereas the same brand of tuna, of canned chicken, doesn't have that at all. In fact, look how much clearer that writing shows up on this can without those circles. And then let's look at this one again. Well, that seems to be clear enough now. But maybe not as polished of a surface in general as the can that we just looked at. So so there are 4 larger circle shapes on the top of this can. So strange, but undoubtedly this is ionizing. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm more than happy to leave this somewhere so that if anyone in the public here, the Ann Arbor public, wants to go up and know what it's like to experience an ionized metal, they can. I'm not making this up. All right? I'm not sick. I'm not delusional. I'm actually in a state of survival. Being homeless and having to forage for food on a daily basis because my DHS worker is grossly incompetent and does not seem to care at all whether I eat or not, regardless of my right and standing to receive food benefits at this very moment. I don't know if she's new or, she's acting in this way according to the suggestions and support of the police departments in the Washtenaw County area that surround Ann Arbor, Michigan, all of whom do not like me and are intimidated by me because I have posted a lot of pejorative video incidents about their misconduct. So this could just be some murky blue politics playing against me to keep me from having access to fresh food from a store in which I could buy with my bridge card benefits, and having to rely upon old, outdated food from pantries that apparently have an inclination also to give out ionized canned foods. So, I also got this beef stew, and I've gotten this from them before, 2 weeks ago, Thursday, and I ate it when I was... Well, look at that. They managed to turn the camera off, so... But yeah, I ate that. I'm going to turn the camera back on because maybe there's something that they didn't want me to see or want us to see. But I ate this at the apartment that I was recently evicted from, 1040 Island Drive, apartment 101. That's Island Drive Court. Ann Arbor, Michigan, 48105. And I had 2 of them. So I seemed to live through that. So I thought, it wasn't that bad tasting. It's very bland. But there seems to be some inconsistency in the color of pinpoint abrasions on the casing here. But again, I'm not psychotic. I'm not schizophrenic. So if it wasn't for these experiences, regardless of this unusually marked pouch of beef stew, I would eat this, but I'm not going to eat it now. And I guess I should also mention what I also got from there, just in case. Saw the food that I have, and I don't have any other means to food, and I'm very hungry right now. So I might go to this very nice place called the Purple House. I know. And they've been very nice to me, and they have humble means, and they should be supported more by the community. And sometimes they've had donuts there. So, but I got these soups. See? See, that's a hacker. Because there's no barcode here. But here's a barcode there, but it's not facing this. So, but unfortunately, these soups